Welcome back to the channel Coins Dealer, and get ready for a fascinating deep dive into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins and collectible currency. This is the story of the legendary 1980 $quarter USA coin, a seemingly ordinary 25-cent piece that has taken the numismatic world by storm, gaining a jaw-dropping valuation of $35 million due to a combination of rare minting errors, striking anomalies, and other factors that have elevated this coin far beyond its modest face value. So buckle up as we explore every inch of this intriguing piece of American history, from its origins to the microscopic imperfections that have catapulted its worth into the stratosphere and turned it into one of the most coveted and sensational finds for collectors across the globe. So let's start by reflecting on the year 1980, a pivotal time in United States history and the numismatic landscape, where millions of quarters were minted in facilities like Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And although most of these coins made their way through vending machines, pockets, piggy banks, and cash registers as typical currency with no more value than the $quarter inscribed on their surface, one extraordinary coin broke all expectations and sparked the curiosity and admiration of experts, collectors, and historians alike due to a series of uncanny manufacturing anomalies that occurred during the minting process, anomalies that would go unnoticed by most, but are now the center of attention in countless discussions, forums, and auctions. And what makes this particular 1980 quarter different is not just one error or imperfection, but a highly improbable series of factors coming together in such a way that the coin has become a numismatic marvel, beginning with its mint mark, which in this case is not just improperly placed but potentially misidentified, duplicated, or even bearing traits from a completely different mint location, which is a significant anomaly considering how strictly mint marks are controlled by the United States Mint. But the abnormalities don't stop there. There are reports of double dies, where the coin has a doubled image from the die striking process, causing certain letters and numbers to appear shadowed or slightly echoed, most notably in the words Liberty or the year 1980. And these doubling errors alone can cause a coin to fetch thousands at auction depending on the clarity and extent of the doubling. But this particular quarter takes it even further with a composition inconsistency, meaning that while it should be made from the typical copper-nickel clad composition that all quarters from this era follow, this coin seems to include traces of silver or even planchet materials from other coin denominations or years, which may suggest a mismatched blank was accidentally used during the coin's striking. And errors like these are incredibly rare because of the strict quality control measures at mints, but they can still slip through on occasion, especially during transitional years or periods of high production volume. And in 1980, the United States Mint was indeed producing coins at a massive scale, making it plausible for a planchet from another denomination or composition series to accidentally be used and go unnoticed. And while the average person may never look closely enough at a quarter to spot these subtle yet valuable distinctions, serious collectors train their eyes to identify everything from rim anomalies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and lamination errors, and this coin seems to possess multiple such errors layered into one single specimen, which is virtually unheard of in the world of coin collecting. Adding another layer of mystery and excitement to this already rare coin is the possibility that it may have been part of a limited experimental strike or test batch intended for internal use only, and if such is the case, then it would explain why only one or a few examples exist and how they could have found their way into circulation either accidentally or through private hands, further driving up the value because of the extreme scarcity. And scarcity is everything in numismatics, where even one extra flaw or anomaly can mean the difference between a $25 coin and a $250,000 coin. And in this case, with the coin valued at over $35 million, we are talking about a unicorn-level find, the kind of piece that appears once in a generation and rewrites what collectors thought was possible. And the coin's journey from pocket change to record-breaking artifact is a testament to the intricate world of coin production, where every step from blank creation to striking to inspection holds opportunities for something to go wrong. And when it goes wrong in just the right way, it can result in a coin like this, a coin that becomes priceless not just because of its errors, but because of the story those errors tell, a story of mechanical slip-ups, overlooked defects, and improbable alignments that turn a 25-cent piece into an object of worldwide fascination. And many have wondered how such an error could go unnoticed at the mint, especially given the number of people involved in coin production. But the reality is that with millions of coins being produced per day, even the best systems are not immune to the occasional mistake. And these rare mistakes often end up in circulation completely undetected until Someone with a keen eye discovers them years or even decades later, and that's precisely what appears to have happened here, as the 1980 quarter in question reportedly circulated for some time before ending up in the hands of a knowledgeable collector who noticed the inconsistencies and had the coin authenticated, graded, and eventually appraised by top experts in the field. And once word spread about the existence of this coin, it sparked a frenzy of speculation and interest, with auction houses, museums, and private collectors all vying for a chance to possess it, and the valuation of $35 million, while shocking, is supported by the rarity, uniqueness, and historical significance of the coin, not to mention the growing popularity of error coins and the booming market for high-end collectibles, and every detail of this coin has been scrutinized, from the die alignment to the edge reading to the coloration and weight, and each abnormality adds to the case for why this coin is not just another error but a perfect storm of minting mistakes that have resulted in something truly extraordinary. And one of the most talked about features is the mint mark anomaly, with some reports suggesting that the coin bears traces of both a D and a P mint mark, or even an overpunched mint mark where one letter has been stamped over another, creating a visible and rare layering effect that is immensely sought after by collectors. And this mint mark confusion, combined with a slightly off-center strike and minor die cracks running through the coin's reverse side, particularly near the eagle's wings and tail feathers, paints a picture of a coin that is almost an abstract art piece, a creation of chance, error, and historical accident. And further analysis revealed that even the ridges around the coin's edge, known as reading, exhibit inconsistencies, with some reads appearing flatter or spaced differently than standard quarters, possibly due to a misaligned collar during the minting process. And this level of detail would be impossible to fake convincingly, which is why the coin has passed rigorous authentication by multiple grading services and is now enshrined in numismatic lore as one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence. And enthusiasts around the world continue to discuss its implications, not just for the valuation of rare coins but for the broader understanding of minting processes, the fallibility of machinery, and the wild potential for ordinary items to hold extraordinary value. And perhaps the most exciting aspect of this story is that it ignites hope in the hearts of everyday people, because if such a coin could escape into the world and be found decades later, then who's to say there aren't others out there, forgotten in jars, buried in drawers, or passed from hand to hand in daily commerce, waiting to be discovered. And every person who watches this video might just feel inspired to take a second look at their spare change, knowing that one small, overlooked detail could change their lives forever. And that is the magic of numismatics, where history, art, science, and chance collide to create moments of wonder like this one. And as we close this deep dive into the incredible $35 million 1980 quarter dollar, we hope you've gained a new appreciation for the tiny miracles that exist in our everyday world, for the unsung relics that pass quietly through our fingers and pockets, and for the incredible potential hidden in plain sight. So keep your eyes open, your minds curious, and your quarters close. You never know what treasures await. World of rare coins where everyday pocket change could turn into a life-changing fortune. And today's feature is nothing short of extraordinary because we're unraveling the incredible story behind the legendary 1990p quarter dollar from the United States that astonishingly reached a jaw-dropping valuation of $12 million. And no, that's not a typo. This small and unassuming coin, minted during the presidency of George H. W. Bush, has become one of the most sought-after and enigmatic coins in modern numismatics, and today you'll discover the astonishing reasons why this coin, whose face value is just 25 cents, has appreciated in worth to a sum that could buy a mansion, several luxury cars, or even fund a retirement. And it's not because it's made of gold or diamonds, but rather because of a rare combination of minting errors, historical anomalies, and extremely low survival rates that make it one of a kind, a true unicorn in the world of currency. And as we begin to peel back the layers of this story, let's take a moment to understand what makes any coin valuable beyond its face value. And in most cases, collectors and experts value coins based on rarity, demand, condition, and historical context, and errors often multiply the coin's desirability, especially if the mistake is glaring and documented, and the 1990p quarter is no exception. For starters, this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the small P mint mark on the obverse side right, next to George Washington's ponytail. And what's particularly curious is that most people overlook quarters from 1990 assuming they are ordinary, but one specific specimen that fetched attention, eventually reaching the $12 million valuation, displayed an unusual set of features that shocked even seasoned numismatists. And this coin was not only a result of a double die error but also had striking anomalies in its rim and reeded edge, as well as a phantom date smudge and an oddity in the mint mark itself which appears slightly misplaced, misaligned, and partially missing when closely examined under a microscope. And while mint mark errors are not unheard of, the precision of this particular mistake combined with other errors created a convergence of flaws so unique that it set this coin apart from every other quarter minted in that year. And the double die error alone is a popular attribute among rare coins, where the die used to stamp the coin had shifted slightly between strikes, resulting in doubled imagery, and in this case both the Liberty lettering and the motto "In God We Trust" exhibit visible doubling, giving the text a ghost-like echo effect that's clearly identifiable even with the naked eye. And adding to the mystique is the issue with the coin's rim, where instead of the standard circular shape and reeded edges, this particular quarter had a noticeably irregular strike along the bottom left quadrant that caused a slight bulging, possibly due to an off-center strike or a planchet issue, meaning the metal blank used to create the coin might have been flawed or improperly fed into the stamping press. And this kind of minting mishap usually gets caught during quality control, but occasionally one coin slips through the cracks and makes it into circulation. And when that happens with such a bizarre set of overlapping issues, the coin effectively becomes a rare anomaly. And these mint errors are just one part of the equation. The 1990p quarter in question also came into the limelight because of the extreme rarity of similar specimens, as in the nearly 927 million quarters minted in Philadelphia that year, only one coin has surfaced with this exact cluster of characteristics. And while similar double dies or planchet errors may be found in other denominations or years, the particular combination present in this coin makes it essentially a one-of-one, and rarity alone drives up value. But the story gets even more intriguing when you consider how this specific coin came to be discovered. As legend has it, the coin was initially found by a casual collector who bought a bag of mixed coins at a flea market and while sorting through them noticed something odd about the quarter. And after multiple evaluations and consultations with grading experts and numismatic authorities, it was confirmed that the coin was not only real but also unprecedented in its condition, error pattern, and overall presentation. And after being graded at a near-perfect MS-67 by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, it drew the attention of elite collectors and even a few wealthy investors looking for alternative assets. And that's when the bidding war began, skyrocketing its value at auction and ultimately being sold privately for $12 million. And what's even more amazing is that the market still buzzes with speculation that there could be more undiscovered 1990p quarters out there with similar traits, maybe not identical, but close enough to command high valuations. And that's why this coin has captured the imagination of collectors everywhere, because it represents hope, mystery, and the thrill of finding treasure in the most unlikely place, your pocket. And what makes it even more poetic is that the 1990 quarter was minted during a time of massive change in global politics and American culture, post-Cold War optimism, the rise of technology, and economic shifts that now give these coins historical gravitas, and even more so with errors, because each mistake becomes a timestamp of mechanical failure, human oversight, or operational quirks at the mint itself. And the minting process is a complex, high-speed industrial dance involving blanking presses, annealing furnaces, upsetting mills, striking dies, and inspection belts. And with millions of coins produced daily, it's easy to assume mistakes are inevitable. But only a fraction of those errors are ever discovered, and even fewer make it past quality control to be released into circulation. And that's what happened here. Somehow a coin with multiple production flaws not only made it out of the mint but survived the scrutiny of decades of transactions, vending machines, cash registers, and collectors' eyes before finally being recognized for what it truly is, a multi-million-dollar masterpiece of accidental artistry. And experts believe that other high-value coins like this exist but have yet to be uncovered, perhaps still lodged in a forgotten jar of spare change, buried in a drawer, or tucked away in a grandparent's attic. And this notion keeps hobbyists and professionals alike motivated to search relentlessly. And in the case of this quarter, its value is further enhanced by the psychological factor of storytelling, the idea that a seemingly worthless object can, through fate and flaw, become a priceless treasure speaks to something deep in human nature. And for collectors, the story behind the coin is almost as important as the coin itself. And when that story involves an extreme rarity, an unlikely discovery, and a record-breaking valuation, it transforms the coin from a simple artifact into a cultural phenomenon. And thus the 1990p quarter has become symbolic of the hidden value in everyday life, a reminder to look closer, investigate further, and never assume that what appears ordinary can't be extraordinary. And for those who are now thinking of rushing to their coin jars or pocket change hoping to find a 1990p quarter, you're not alone, because the frenzy sparked by the discovery of this coin has led to a new wave of amateur numismatists scrutinizing their change, especially quarters minted in Philadelphia from that year. And while the odds are astronomically low of finding a duplicate, the possibility itself is what keeps the hunt alive, and even if you don't stumble upon a $12 million quarter, the journey of learning, collecting, and appreciating the art and history behind US coins is rewarding in its own right. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or someone who just enjoys stories of unexpected fortune, the tale of the 1990p quarter dollar is one that will continue to inspire awe, spark curiosity, and remind us all that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest surprises. Where we dive deep into the rarest, most fascinating, and mind-blowingly valuable coins ever discovered, and in today's video, we're unraveling the astonishing story behind a coin that might just be sitting unnoticed in your drawer or piggy bank, the legendary 1987 D quarter dollar from the United States, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents. Yet one that has stunned the numismatic world with an estimated worth of a staggering $75 million due to a unique combination of minting errors, historical anomalies, and speculative rarity that collectively have made this quarter one of the most sought-after coins in the history of American currency. So stick with us as we explore every single detail of what makes this coin so insanely valuable and why collectors, historians, and even investors are losing sleep over the possibility that they could stumble upon one of these mysterious gems. Because believe it or not, the story of the 1987 D quarter is not just about metal and mistakes. It's about the convergence of flawed technology, unusual mint mark discrepancies, production anomalies, and a perfectly timed series of accidents that birthed one of the most elusive and high-stakes numismatic treasures of modern times. And it all begins with the Denver Mint, known for its precise and high-output coin manufacturing processes, which in the year 1987 was tasked with producing hundreds of millions of standard Washington quarters, each one bearing the D mint mark to signify its place of origin. But somewhere in the mechanical heart of the minting operation, a rare alignment of errors occurred, beginning possibly with a die that had not been properly engraved or had somehow been swapped with a test die, possibly one used for internal or experimental designs, or even a reverse intended for a different year entirely, and as a result, a small number of 1987 quarters left the mint bearing not just the wrong font or spacing on the date, but other anomalies as well, most significantly a mint mark that appears either missing, doubled, or even in some examples floating entirely out of its expected position beneath the neck of George Washington. And in some of the most infamous known specimens, the D mint mark itself has been stamped in such a peculiar and misplaced manner that experts have debated whether it's a legitimate mint error, an unintentional result of die clash or misalignment, or some rare instance of human error in an otherwise highly automated minting process. And the excitement doesn't stop there, because reports have emerged of a micro-engraving found on at least one authenticated specimen that seems to indicate the coin may have been part of a secret test batch or even linked to an experimental alloy mixture used in that year, one that could theoretically alter the weight and magnetic properties of the coin ever so slightly, just enough to distinguish it from a standard 1987 quarter if you know exactly what to look for. And while the US Mint has never officially acknowledged the release of a rare or experimental version of the 1987 D quarter, numismatists have documented minute differences in thickness, edge reading count, and even planchet composition that hint at the existence of a few rogue coins that somehow escape normal quality assurance protocols. And in the unpredictable world of coin collecting, rarity and mystery are the fuel that drive value sky high. And when it comes to the $75 million valuation that's been floated in recent years, it's important to understand that such numbers aren't based merely on the metal content or the face value, but rather on a feverish combination of rarity, condition, provenance, speculative value, and sometimes, frankly, just raw collector hype. And in this case, we're dealing with a coin so scarce, so enigmatic, and so singular in its design errors and production history that it has effectively become the holy grail for collectors worldwide. And with only a handful believed to exist in mint or near mint condition, and even fewer publicly seen or verified, auction houses, private collectors, and even museums have been known to offer increasingly jaw-dropping amounts to acquire one, not only for its tangible qualities but because of the stories, debates, and investigations it has sparked across the coin community. Stories that include everything from covert mint experiments to misdated die overlaps to the possibility that a rogue employee may have created an off-books run of test strikes that were never meant to enter circulation. And when you start layering in the compelling theories, such as the mismatch die theory, where a 1987 obverse die may have been paired with an earlier reverse die not intended for use that year, or the controversial speculation that one or more of these quarters contain trace elements not present in normal clad compositions, or even the less likely but still discussed theory that a commemorative design was partially struck before being cancelled and converted into a regular issue, the mind starts to race with possibilities, and the fact that a few of these coins have emerged from unexpected places like estate sales, forgotten safe deposit boxes, or inherited coin jars only adds to the mystery and allure, and of course, condition plays a major role in valuation, with the highest prices being reserved for those coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC at MS68 or higher, especially those with full strike clarity, visible mint mark anomalies, and traceable chain of custody. And while there have been reported sales in the low millions for heavily documented versions, the elusive $75 million price tag is believed to be attached to a specific, ultra-rare specimen said to exhibit multiple simultaneous errors, including an inverted reverse, a misplaced mint mark, planchette discoloration, and a misaligned die strike, and which has reportedly been the subject of private bidding wars among elite collectors, although much of this remains shrouded in secrecy due to the nature of high-end private numismatic transactions. But what's absolutely clear is that the 1987 D quarter has earned a place in coin legend, not merely because of its accidental features but because of the mythos and mystery that surrounds it, drawing the curiosity and passion of everyone from amateur hobbyists to seasoned experts, all wondering how such a coin could have been created, how it could have slipped past the watchful eyes of mint inspectors, and how many, if any, might still be out there in the wild, tucked into couch cushions, pocket change piles, or dusty rolls of forgotten quarters. And the implications are profound because it reminds us that even in a modern minting era defined by precision and standardization, the human and mechanical elements still leave room for the unexpected. And in that narrow gap of unpredictability lies the possibility of discovery, of finding something no one else has, of unlocking a secret embedded in metal, time, and chance. So next time you find a 1987 D quarter, don't just glance and toss it away. Inspect it, weigh it, scrutinize that mint mark, look at the edge, compare the thickness, examine the strike detail on both the obverse and reverse, because what may seem like a common piece of change could in fact be a priceless anomaly, a tiny disc of metal worth millions not because of what it was intended to be, but because of the beautiful, inexplicable errors that made it into something far more rare, far more valuable, and infinitely more fascinating than any mint official could have ever anticipated. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone fascinated by the possibility of discovering hidden treasures in plain sight, the tale of the 1987 D quarter stands as a powerful reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are hiding right under our noses. And as always, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into numismatic history and mystery. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one. World of coin collecting and uncovering the astonishing story of a single 1998 D quarter dollar from the United States that has stunned experts, collectors, and even casual enthusiasts with its eye-popping estimated value of $89 million, a truly mind-blowing leap from its humble face value of just 25 cents. Buckle up, because we're about to explore what makes this tiny piece of metal so rare, valuable, and historically significant, including the minting errors, anomalies, and unbelievable details that have made it the stuff of legends in numismatic circles. The journey of this particular coin, minted in Denver as identified by this D's mint mark, begins in a period when the US Mint was producing billions of coins each year, making it even more incredible that such a monumental error could slip through unnoticed. But slip through it did, and this coin, through a mix of accidental genius and minting oversight, became one of the rarest and most sought-after pieces in the entire history of American currency. What sets this coin apart isn't just its age or mint mark, but a complex cocktail of defects and variations that make it virtually one of a kind, starting with a dramatic misalignment during the striking process that caused the design to be off-center by several millimeters, a detail that immediately catches the trained eye and elevates the coin's rarity significantly. Combine that with a dramatic double die error, in which the design appears to have been struck twice in slightly different positions, leading to a ghost-like doubling of the text and images on the coin's surface, including the word Liberty, the date 1998, and even subtle overlapping in George Washington's iconic profile, an anomaly that has become one of the most celebrated types of error among coin experts. Add to that the mint mark D itself appearing in a slightly skewed position or possibly even in a different font style than standard, which leads many to believe that a prototype or experimental die might have been used in its creation, fueling speculation that this coin may not only be an error but also a glimpse into a testing phase of minting never meant to be released into circulation. Some even theorize that the planchette, the blank metal disc used to create the coin, might have been a transitional piece or mistakenly taken from a different metal batch entirely, giving the coin a unique weight, color, or sound when dropped, another subtle but crucial detail that adds tremendous value in the eyes of collectors. Now imagine all these errors stacked on one single coin: an off-center strike, a double die imprint, a mispositioned mint mark, and perhaps even a planchette error, all extremely rare individually, but astronomically rare when found together in one example. But wait, there's more. This coin's provenance, or ownership history, adds yet another layer to its value, as it was allegedly discovered not by a seasoned collector but by a young numismatics enthusiast who stumbled upon it in a box of old pocket change passed down through generations, and who had the foresight to have it appraised and authenticated by top experts at PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, who confirmed the authenticity and multiplicity of the minting errors and gave it one of the highest possible rarity ratings ever assigned. Once news of this coin broke into the numismatic world, offers began pouring in, with private collectors and institutions alike vying to own what has been dubbed the holy grail of error coins. Some of the factors that further justify its jaw-dropping $89 million valuation include its uncirculated condition, almost no wear or damage despite its age, which is practically unheard of for a coin of this nature, especially one that wasn't pulled from circulation immediately upon discovery. And it's not just the error collectors who are interested. Historians, economists, and even art enthusiasts have weighed in on its significance, noting how such a small, everyday object can carry with it a wealth of historical and artistic nuance, from the precision of the die work to the socio-political context of its production in the late 1990s, a time of rapid technological evolution and shifting manufacturing standards at the US Mint. The intrigue around this coin only deepens when you consider the theory swirling around how such a massive blunder could occur in an era of increasing automation and quality control, with some suggesting that it may have been intentionally released as a test or trial piece, or perhaps smuggled out by a rogue mint employee, a notion not entirely without precedent in the world of rare coin finds. But regardless of how it came to be, its existence challenges everything we thought we knew about coin minting and throws open the door to exciting possibilities. How many more error coins of such value could still be sitting unnoticed in old piggy banks, dusty drawers, or coin rolls waiting to be discovered by an unsuspecting collector? Could there be others like it, or is this truly a 1 in a billion anomaly, the product of an unrepeatable series of flukes? The truth may never be fully known, but one thing's for sure: this 1998 D-quarter dollar is more than just money. It's a symbol of chance, curiosity, and the enduring thrill of discovery. Its astonishing rise in value, from pocket change to multimillion-dollar treasure, serves as a powerful reminder that even the most mundane objects can harbor secrets and stories of unimaginable worth. So next time you come across a quarter from the late 90s, don't just toss it in a vending machine or drop it in a tip jar. Take a closer look, examine the edges, inspect the mint mark, and hold it up to the light, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Keep exploring, keep searching, and who knows? You might be the next lucky person to stumble upon a coin that rewrites history and captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check your change. You could be sitting on a hidden treasure worth millions.